Hello everyone. Today our topic for sustainable marketing is sustainable urban tourism, understanding and developing visitor pro-environmental behavior. This topic will be presented by Kanika, Sohan, Madan Gopal, Oshani and Rong. Basically, before starting with this topic, we would first like to discuss about the concept of sustainability and the role of sustainability in marketing and management. The concept of sustainability basically means meeting the present generation requirement without compromising the future generation requirement. By this, what we mean is utilization of resources effectively and efficiently. Also, sustainability plays a very crucial role in marketing and management as organizations nowadays are required to meet the needs of its present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation needs to fulfill their own needs. Why sustainability plays an important role in marketing and management is because most of the firms nowadays have become profit motive and they are least concerned about the environmental issues, social issues and economical issues. So it is really very important for us to maintain, for the organizations to maintain a balance between the present generation need and the future generation need. So, however, there are some firms which have realized the importance of sustainability, and there are some organizations who have to follow this concept of sustainability because of some legal regulations, that is corporate social responsibility. Over the concept of sustainability, there are basically three pillars, that is social pillar, environmental pillar and economical pillar. So if any one of the pillar becomes weak, the whole concept of sustainability becomes unsustainable. And our topic is covered under the environmental pillar. The key concepts that are identified in our topic are green, eco and sustainable tourism, growth of sustainable tourism and tourism destinations, pro-environmental behaviors in sustainable tourism, sustainable urban tourism, and last but not the least is political influences for sustainable tourism. Coming towards our first concept, that is green tourism, ecotourism and sustainable tourism. Basically, green tourism is an extended version of ecotourism. As in ecotourism, tourists basically prefer the places which are more covered by the natural resources, where there is more flora, fauna and where there is more cultural heritage. So the green tourism provides those methods to reach those destinations of the eco-tourist. And also green tourism undertakes the initiatives which are required to preserve the natural resources, and they too are concerned about the welfare of people. So and in sustainable tourism is basically a more broader concept of ecotourism, as it involves the development of tourism and recreation in country, region or tourist destination.
Coming to our second concept, we are talking about the growth of sustainable tourism and the tourism destinations across the world. Now, the concept of sustainable tourism was not that developed until recently, and the focus was also not much on the sustainable tourism concept. It was considered to be a very niche sector, and it was kept separated from the mainstream tourism market, products and services provided by the local governments to the tourists. But however, in the past decade, we have seen that there has been an emergence of a concept called as an emerging green tourism. Now, as discussed in the previous slide by my colleague, green tourism basically focuses on the methods that are used to reach the natural reserves that come under eco-tourist destinations, and also make sure of the well-being and the welfare of the local people staying around those areas. So, emerging green tourism applies to sustainable tourism, and that has led to the development of the sustainable urban tourism. So as you can see from the slide, there has been a shift in the focus in the recent years from niche green markets that come only under the ecotourism to mainstream markets that come under sustainable urban tourism. The concept of green tourism market basically focuses on the concepts of green tourism, and it has helped in promoting various issues like energy efficiency, making use of the renewable resources to make sure that the carbon offsets from air conditioners, cars, etc. are reduced to a great extent, promoting recycling activities across the cities, and also promoting the use of local transport so that non-renewable resources like petrol do not get wasted. Sustainable urban tourism not only focuses on the naturally occurring enclaves that are a part of the ecotourism, but it also promotes greening of the cities. Now, there has been an increasing trend in the developing countries as well as the developed countries where greening of the cities is promoted from the school level itself. Children are taught about the importance of greening their cities, of maintaining a good culture so that the future generations can benefit out of the good environment that we preserve today. If we talk about one of the surveys conducted by Mr. Miller, it was found that Amsterdam had a lot of tourists coming in because of the mode of transportation used in the city instead of just the naturally occurring enclaves around the city. So some of the methods used for promoting green tourism are providing green maps of the cities to the tourist, promoting the use of local transport to travel from one place to another, having cycle trails and promoting the use of cycles over cars and motorbikes, having animal sanctuaries showing that they also care about the animals and promoting their welfare, and also at the same time making sure that all the heritage sites are preserved. Now coming to our third concept, which is pro-environmental behavior in sustainable tourism. Pro-environmental behavior is any such behavior that minimizes the bad impact on the environment from the human activities, and at the same time also promotes the preservation of the environment for the welfare of the future generations. Now, pro-environmental behavior can also go from the name of good environmental responsibility, so that the environment is not harmed in any possible way. Now, there are a lot of factors that affect the pro-environmental behaviors of the tourist, and these factors are listed as habits, attitude, background, and external and other priorities. Habits, background, and attitude are more to do with the upbringing and the culture of the tourist from where he is coming from. If in his home country there is a promotion for green tourism and he understands the importance of keeping the cities green, then he would do the same thing in the tourist destination. And external and other priorities cover some of the political influences and what the political organizations and agencies and NGOs can do for the promotion of green and urban tourism. This part would be covered in the future presentation. However, talking about taking forward the pro-environmental behavior of the tourist, we have seen that the behavior of the tourist basically is quite different from the behavior in their home country. They tend to be more environmental friendly and more concerned about the well-being of the people around when they are in their home country as opposed to them being the tourist. This can be because of the variety of factors. The first may be because they are visiting on a holiday to a tourist destination and they are in a completely different mood. They might be facing difficulty with the lack of infrastructure to the tourist destination they are visiting, or they might not have the same moral responsibility that they might have when they are in their home country, or probably the local people of the city they are visiting might not be environmental friendly and might be doing things that would affect their behavior in general. So these are some of the trends that affect the behaviors of the tourist, and hence they tend to behave in a manner which is not environmental friendly when they visit a tourist destination instead of when they are in their home country.
The key concept which I'm going to cover today is sustainable urban tourism. First of all, we'll see what is urban tourism. Like most of the urban areas are important for tourist destination because of disproportionately located with cultural and historical attraction, and they often process large variety of arrays which is like appeal for tourists, including museum, sports centers, theaters, monuments, and sports stadium. And most of the tourists also they come for a short stay, like conferences or participating in any other occasions or events. So urban tourism is one of the main part of the tourism which is like considered in this decade. And then sustainable urban tourism is like divided into now sustainable eco tourism and sustainable green tourism. sustainable ecotourism and green tourism are both similar, whereas green tourism follows all the eco principles. The key principles of sustainable ecotourism is minimizing the impact of physical, social, behavioral, and building environmental cultural awareness, and providing positive experience for both visitors and hosts, providing direct financial benefit for conservation, general financial benefits for both local people and private industries. Also, the International Ecotourism Society defines ecotourism as responsible travel to natural areas that conserve environment, sustainable the well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and the education. And the next slide is about how the steps taken to sustain the sustainable tourism. Like what are the steps taken? As in the article, the Melbourne government, like Victorian government, is concentrating in two key points, which is one is attracting the customer, one is infrastructure facility, sustainability. So in attracting the customer is the way, like you can attract the tourist by using green maps, bicycle or cycling trails, and then like local transport proficiency, like concessions on local transport, Mikey cards, something like that, and then preserving heritage and cultural products. Like if you take for example, like in Melbourne city, you can't demolish all buildings in the front. Like the front part of the buildings should be historically same, and you can build the buildings inside the front historical place. And then infrastructure sustainable. Infrastructure sustainable is something like recycling product. Like Melbourne government has recycling products of waste, everything they recycle, and renewable energy resources, like they are using solar panels for notification boards and speeds in speed limit stuff in Melbourne city or in Victorian city. And investment on green transport. Green transport in the sense trams, metro rails. They are investing huge on trams and metro rails and improving. Like they are making them locally. There's some of the trams are made in Victoria itself. It's marketed in the tram itself. And then reduction of water wastage. Like they are like using the water for like without leaving it to waste the rainwater. There are systems for saving the rainwater and use it away. And they are giving provisions to people who start up like saving rainwater and stuff. So, and these are the main steps taken to sustain the tourism.
Well, as one of the most important role as a government or agency can influence for this sustainable tourism can name as political influences for sustainable tourism. As the name of it, as it is, this policy is well structured or a mechanism that government follows on attaining certain aim. So when it comes to tourism sustainability, the tourism policy will be a mechanism that government asks people to follow in order to protect ancient historical destinations without zero impact. Our group has identified main two ways of influencing sustainable tourism by qualitative and quantitative strategies. Under qualitative strategies, there are three main parts. Identify the tourist behavior, giving knowledge about tourism sustainability for the people, and undergo surveys type of programs just to identify the tourist behavior and the current situation of sustainable tourism in the country. Under quantitative strategies, this is the most important area which we have covered in our group discussion. Under quantitative strategies, we have identified few areas that this government or NGO agencies can be influenced for this sustainable tourism by putting regulations on businesses. As an example, government can put a restriction the distance from the animal washing as whale washing. Next one is organized awareness programs. At the moment, Melbourne City has organized two different awareness programs such as LNT and STI. Next one is develop attitudes towards eco-friendly, increase availability of facilities in the country, change habits for the sustainability, and maintain home city eco-friendly system. When a government or an agency involved in these putting policies for the sustainable tourism, we could see few barriers which have been which was there in the normal day-to-day life. The business priority and the conformity, the short-term objectives of the company, competition within the industry, poor coordination, poor communication, as well as lack of awareness. For these barriers, our group has concluded some recommendations such as government or agencies, NGOs can introduce attractive recycling mechanisms. That means if a government can give some kind of a reward when people tend to more be eco-friendly by recycling plastic and other stuff, and produce eco-friendly products and services more and more in their day-to-day life, build capacity within the internal operations, motivate people to attend more on sustainability, especially by doing some awareness programs, as I told you before. Also develop good communication system. As we came to the end of our presentation, I would like to conclude our presentation as like this. As per the article, our group has decided this sustainable tourism is one of the most important thing for a country. For that, the NGOs or the government can play a major role by influencing this sustainable tourism, especially by being eco-friendly and by increasing green marketing strategies within the company, as well as government or NGOs and other parties can influence people to being sustainable in the tourism as well as the other areas of the country. Thank you.